Hey, my lovelies, you're welcome to Reviews and Recaps. I'm so sorry I was gone for a bit. There was a point where I just had so much going on, and then I just got to a point where I then went on holiday and then I just couldn't record. But I'm back now, guys. So I'm going to be covering Love and Marriage Huntsville episode 12. So the the episode started with the chat between Tisha and her cousin Kiki, right? The first thing I thought was that conversation was awkward as hell. It was like they were being very petty. Tisha started by saying like things have definitely changed between them, and you're my cousin. You shouldn't join in conversations with people about me. And on this one, I agree with Tisha. Like, I don't agree with Tisha on a lot of things, but on this one, I actually agree with her. Like, if someone or my name is brought up, I don't care how it was brought up, don't join in conversations. It's just not, it's not appropriate. And then eventually Tisha walked off, like she usually does. Her cousin got angry and, they went back and forth. What was funny about this episode was that Miss Wanda was upset about them sort of going back and forth. And she was like, not at her event. I'm like, Miss Wanda, at everyone's event, you always go in with that negative energy. So I'm sorry they decided to give it back to you today. It's like, today you got a taste of your own medicine, so keep quiet. But anyways, she managed to keep it under control a little bit. And it then got to a point where Kiki was now basically asking them, so are you saying that throughout our relationship we haven't brought up or we haven't talked about Maso's infidelity? Maso sort of got involved in the conversation. Then it sounded like Kiki was about to table the whole matter. And Maso then got so disrespectful to Kiki. He raised his voice at her. He was being super aggressive, sort of saying like, if you say what you have against it, say it. And I'm just like, when it just seemed like someone was about to out you, and then to try to distract, and you decided to cause a distraction so that everyone will forget about the person trying to out you, and everyone will be wondering about this chaos that you have created. I think that was what he did, and he definitely is really good at it. Word on the street is that allegedly Mr. Maso has a kid out of wedlock that the family know about, but has not been revealed on the show. So everyone is sort of keeping mute about it. But I wonder if that's what Miss Kiki was about to say, because it sounds like Miss Kiki knows where the skeletons are buried, if you ask me. But anyways, Tisha started crying as per usual. And then everyone kept saying, like, don't you think, like, Mel is trying to destroy Tisha? And I'll be honest, I loved when Kiki said, I don't see it. And the reason I say that is because I personally do not see Mel trying to destroy anybody. I just don't think she has the time for it. I don't think she's that kind of person. She doesn't have that energy at all. So I don't really see it being that. Because if anything, Tisha is the one that is always constantly bringing Mel up, or Kimmy. Like, Mel doesn't go around walking around and bringing Tisha up. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I have not seen Mel bring up Tisha just randomly like that. So Miss Kimmy, the peacemaker of the season, went over to Destiny's house. Miss Destiny gave her some champagne and fruits. I thought that setup looked pretty. I don't really like champagne, so seeing her put fruits in it sort of helped, and I was like, okay, maybe that's something for me to try at some point if I ever go back there. Although I'm also the same person thinking of just completely not drinking anymore, so I don't really know. I'm still grappling with the idea of that. Anyways, back to Miss Kimmy. Kimmy was basically saying to Destiny that she hadn't seen her since Jayling's like housewarming party. And so, of course, Destiny congratulated Jaylin on the house and everything. Then Kimmy then brought up the issue that Destiny had with Stormy. And Destiny basically was trying to figure out like where did it all go wrong with Stormy, and the fact that she liked Stormy. Stormy was even inviting her to come and her dad to come over and fish at their house. So she's sort of unsure as to where things went wrong. And Kimmy said that calling Stormy sweetie, was where it went wrong. But at the same time, Stormy should have given her some grace. Now, my thing is this, right? If we're already in an argument and you call me sweetie, it will not go down well. If we weren't in an argument, you're like, hey, sweetie, that's absolutely fine. Oh, sweetie, can you do this for me? So that is absolutely fine. But if we're having an argument or a heated dialogue, and then you're like, sweetie, like, no, don't be patronizing. Just stop it. So it wouldn't have gone down well for me as well. So I hear what Kimmy is saying about having some grace, but no. Especially when Destiny did not have any grace with her in previous conversations. So why should she suddenly have grace about it? Now, of course, as a Christian woman that I am, I'm like, yes, of course, extend grace to everybody. But at the same time, sometimes in that moment, you're not even thinking about no grace. You're just thinking like, yo, how did this person just come at me like this, So as soon as she said that, sweetie, I was just like, alarm bells in my head. Then they proceeded to talk about Mel. And so Destiny continued to act like, she ain't that upset, blah, blah, blah. But then in the confessional, she'd be looking like she wants to cry about the loss of Mel. I'm like, girl, if you want your friend back, you know how to get your friend back. All this you talking about your friend to other people is not helping you get back together. Instead, it's going to irritate her. Like, if I was Melody and this girl that I don't trust because she was having a conversation with someone that I'm not cool with, then proceeds to continue to have conversations with other people about me and our relationship, but isn't having the conversations with me, I would be completely uncomfortable, and I would just be like, what is wrong with this woman? Like, it's like she is not getting the issue. Honestly, I wouldn't want to be friends with that sort of person, because I'm like, why do you keep talking to everybody but me? That's annoying. Anyways, moving right along. Louis and Tiffany had a chat about how her trip to Utah went. So Tiffany was a bit upset that she came back home and Louis did not seem interested about her trip and how it went. So she popped up at his office to discuss the trip with him. On that one, it was a bit interesting because to me, I'm like, okay, first you were meant to go with your husband to Utah. You decided to go with Mel. And then you're upset that when you walked in, he wasn't jumping for joy at the fact that you've just come back from a trip with a friend, a trip that was meant to be you and him. So forgive him for not jumping for joy. But anyways, one thing I definitely liked about Louis this episode was that he actually, for the first time, said that Mel has consistently showed up as a good friend to them, irrespective of what other people have said about Mel. And I'm like, finally, somebody is seeing it. Like, I'm so tired of the hate Mel train. It's like, this girl has been nothing but nice to you since you came on board. She's been talking to your dry ass, like, just constantly, right? And then she's been doing all these other things as well. And when you just think about it as a unit, you're just like, why is everyone on this thing about Mel? Like, everyone just needs to get out their feelings. Because if Mel was such a bad friend, then why is everyone still trying to be friends with her? Destiny is acting like she does not want to be friends with Mel, but she does. She looks like she was crying in the confessional. So would you look like that if you actually was happy or were happy wherever you were with your friends? No. You want to go back to Mel because Mel was a freaking good friend to you. I don't know what friend will be giving you thousands of dollars, sorry. thousands of dollars to pay your bills that are overdue when she does not have to. And bear in mind, she has 4 kids and she's a single mother. Like, she must love your ass. But instead, you paid her back by talking to her little enemy, Miss Tisha. Anyways, we move. Mattel had a meeting with his manager where they were just talking about wine and stuff and upcoming events. It was on a park bench. I guess they didn't have an office. Anyways, nothing interesting here, so I'm not going to be talking about it. But I'm not knocking his hustle. Moving right along to the conversation between Maso and Tisha. So they caught up about the events that happened at Wanda's tragic party. And they were basically talking about it. Maso was expressing that he feels like her family members are harassing. And like he felt blindsided coming to the event, blah blah blah, which is completely understandable. If you see the way like all Tisha's family like just stood over Marcel and were asking him like questions about his fidelity and all these things, it was like there was just the level of respect wasn't there. And there was one guy called Bernard, and he just kept poking, prodding, disrupting. He will move, he will like, it was just too much, like just too many distractions. Okay, now this is where it got interesting. So Tisha went on to say that what she would like from him moving forward is a very direct answer. She's like, give me direct answers. Don't beat about the bush. Just go straight to the point and just give me the answers. Guess what Mr. Mercer said? Mercer was like, please don't ask questions that are disrespectful to my character. I was like, okay. Sounds like he's trying to play a fast one on you, Tisha. Tisha, listen up. If a man tells you not to ask him questions that are disrespectful to his character, then proceeds to give you an example of when it was alleged that he went to give Alicia a bottle of their wine or whatnot. The truth of the matter, though, is that we saw a clip where he went and gave some wine to Miss Melody. Now, I don't think it was at her house, but he still went and gave her some wine. So I don't know why suddenly there is all of that shenanigans. But anyways, so he said that he just doesn't want questions that are disrespectful to his character. And to me, I honestly don't believe that. I think there's definitely something else happening in the background. Also, Kimmy and Melody had lunch. Kimmy basically said that, she'd spoken to Tiffany and like heard that they went to Utah. Mel gave her a little bit of like a backstory regarding that. And Kimmy brought up Destiny again. It's like, Kimmy, stop being the bone carrier this season, man. What's going on? Anyways, Kimmy basically mentioned to Mel that she was talking with Destiny and was trying to see if they can get to some resolve. Kimmy also brought up the fact that, I don't know if you guys remember, it was Kimmy's event as well. It's always at Kimmy's event, it seems. And basically at Kimmy's event, Destiny was really upset and Mel pulled her to the side and like spoke to her and checked up on her, and where she was fine, began to start talking to her again. Mel basically assured us that it was nothing. It was just testament of her character. If it was anybody else, she would have gone ahead to like watch the noise as well, which I completely believe, to be honest. On that note, thank you very much for listening to this episode. I think next week's episode is likely to be nice because the guys went to Atlanta, so it's about to be a whole mess, and I'm here for it. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you like this video and subscribe. Make sure you also share it with your friends. Thank you very much.